Oh my gosh, guys, I am so excited recording this little snippet for you that I am going to replace my current intro for all of my podcast episodes so that for those of you that have been around for a while, you don't get confused. And for those of you that are new, welcome. Welcome to a brand new chapter of the show. Now, if you've been here from the beginning, you'll know this podcast has always been around helping women to build powerful personal brands, hence the name becoming a powerhouse brand. But over time, I have realized that the work that we're really here to do on this podcast, in the work that I do, obviously, even my business name, everything that it is that I stand for, it goes so much deeper than building a personal brand. So, welcome to She Who Roars. And this is not about shouting the loudest or forcing your way to success or chasing any trends. This is about presence. This is about identity, trusting your intuition, and creating an impact that is felt long before you even say a word, because the work that you do is changing lives. So, this isn't goodbye to personal branding. This is an evolution of the podcast. This is a journey of coming home to who you truly are, expanding your identity, and stepping into the leader that you're here to become. So, whether you've been listening since day one of the show or you've only just found this space, thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful that you are part of this journey. And now let's dive into today's episode. Today, we are going to be talking about building your life by design and following that next level of leadership for you. Now, a lot of the conversations that I have with people are those that have kind of invested in the strategy, they've invested in their brand, they've invested in doing all of these different things, they've got the systems and the structure, and they get to a point in their business where things are going well, they're getting the clients, but they just feel stuck on what is next for me. And a lot of the time, it comes down to kind of a disconnect in who it is that you are, because there can sometimes be a route where you've maybe followed somebody else's strategy or path, and you get to a point in your life and you're just thinking, oh my god, I just don't know what I want to do next. I literally don't know what my next move is. So this episode is for you, and today we have Neelam Challoner on, who is the founder of Designer Life Coaching, and we're going to be talking about this very thing. So Neelam, welcome to the show.
Hello, Jackie. Nice to be here.
Could you tell us a bit about your journey and how you got into life coaching?
So, I grew up in a kind of a traditional but modern Asian Punjabi family. Um, Having said that, at the age of 15, I found myself in a car um, going to East London for an arranged marriage. And And I was just about to go through my GCSEs. My dad didn't know, but it was my mum. I'm one of six children. I'm the eldest, five girls, one boy. So my mum was on a mission to get me married.
Wow.
Yeah. And anyway, the long and short of it is that she then made two further attempts for me to have an arranged marriage. And it didn't work out, fortunately. Um, as in, I didn't get married. um, and and that was really where a lot of my thinking started to shape. I was reading personal development books, self-help books from the age of 15. I'd always been an avid reader. And a couple of the early books was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, The Magic of Thinking Big. So I was kind of in my own world of like, how can I design my life? Because I cannot live by default. Default for me would have been having an arranged marriage, and I didn't want that for me. Um, so that's really kind of me as a person. I had this passion to unlock human potential, but it first had to start with me. Um, and then kind of jumping forward, I was working I've got a bit of a colourful career history. So I was a holiday rep in Ibiza for a couple of years, and I also worked in Turkey, and I worked in New York. And I was headhunted a couple of times. And one of the things that I was particularly good at, which I didn't realize at the time, was unlocking high performance in teams. So I was managing teams of kind of like 12 to 24. Um, uh, so a good size number. And I just had this ability to coach them, but I didn't know it was called coaching. Um, and and yeah, the long and short of it is that I ended up coaching teams, turning them into high performing teams, and my style was very much coaching and unlocking their potential. And then one day, this is back in 2003, I was invited to a conference through my church, and it was called Live the Dream. And the host on the last day described a coach, and I'm not joking, Jackie. He literally described me, and I just knew that that's who I am, and that's literally I didn't have a second thought. I signed up to do a coaching course, a diploma, and then 2004 I was qualified, and that was it. I was going to set up my business, and it was that's how I came about with designer life coaching, because I wanted to help people design their life, not live by default and not live by duty, but to have that choice. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
I love that. So you were coaching people, but without even realizing.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember in on the course, the the facilitator was telling us where coaching had kind of really started. And I don't know if you know this, but it was actually in Canada. Now I can't even remember who the professor was, but it was coming from the stagecoach. Back then there wasn't any cars. So it was the stagecoach that would get you from A to B. And so that's always the type, that's where I was always wired. I was always thinking about the future. How am I going to get from here to there? And I still do that, except now I don't say that I will take a client from A to B. I take them from A to V, which is vision. What is your vision? And I will take you there. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit about the history of coaching and how it
Love
started.
that.
And
You
obviously it
really
was
were
really.
breaking those patterns, weren't you, in what was kind of the norm in your upbringing as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really thankful to my father who actually let me go. I mean, back in the 90s, Jackie, it wasn't the done thing for an Asian girl to go off and work abroad, let alone Ibiza.
Literally, I'm just gonna go to Ibiza of all places.
Yeah, no, he let me go. And that just happened to be where the company that I was working with, that I was employed with, it was First Choice Holidays. I don't know if you remember them.
Yes. Oh my gosh, are they
Um,
even still around?
don't know if they, I don't think they
Don't
are.
know.
Um, but yeah, so I went for an interview, took myself off to Gatwick, which is where their offices were near there. Um, and yeah, I got the job. I mean, it was, I think on average, they got around 1,000 to 1,200 applicants back then.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
And I was
crazy.
shortlisted, and then I got the offer. Ibiza happened to be where they offered me. I never chose that necessarily. So yeah.
I love that. And I think for anyone listening to this, if you're ever feeling in that point of you have that feeling, don't you, that there's something more available to you, even if you don't necessarily know what that thing is, you get that calling, you get that feeling in your body that's just there. This is not my life, that this isn't the limit. Like I can go further than this.
Yeah.
How do you help people kind of really develop their leadership skills or step into that next level of themselves to create their life by design essentially?
So living by design is really about who are you at the core, at the essence? What is it that you want? So, one of the things that I would do is help people really know themselves and know their values first. It's important that you're true to yourself, you know. Um, but then there's the what we call the unknown. And the unknown is where we tap into. It's that individual doesn't know yet what their potential is. So it could be that they may have an idea of where they want to go, what their dreams are, their goals are. Um, And so it's as they start to bring that to life, as we work together on this, so this is very practical. How do you bring that to life? What is it? What does it look like? What are the steps? What's the roadmap? But then there's some individuals who aren't always clear about their vision and what they want. So then it's my job as a coach is then to unlock that, to really find out what's deep down and asking those questions. And sometimes there might be, let's just jump in, have a challenge, give yourself a challenge, see if you could do something that scares you a little bit, and see what happens. I'm going to give you literally an example from what's happened in the last week. So I'm working with a team in Cyprus. They're a sales team, and I've been working with them for quite a while. But there are two people that hadn't reached their record numbers. So part of what I do is help people to think bigger and to go bigger. So go beyond what they think they could reach. Anyway, so the long and short of it is I got an email from them on Monday saying individually that I've not only reached my target, which was their highest target ever, they've now reached their record numbers. So what they've done now is they have set a new bar for themselves and they've realized that they can do it. And in fact, one of them messaged me and she said, how is this even possible? That she managed to do it. So yeah, so it's sometimes you just have to be open to trying and that effort for some it's going to be a lot. I know in the last probably 10 days those two individuals put their all into it. It didn't necessarily come easy. So yeah, so part of what I do is really look to unlock that extraordinary human potential in that individual.
I love that. And I think for so many of us, when you do get that feeling of there's something more available to you, once you can unlock what that thing is, or even if you've just got an idea of, okay, I want to be a bit creative, I want to do this kind of thing, that having a pivot, I see so many people pivoting. Some might just be a minor pivot, others it might be a completely different thing, a different venture that they're going to go into. And I love that. And I think, I don't know if you noticed this, but I definitely noticed that this happens at all ages. It's not like you get to a certain age and you're too old, or you've kind of been doing this for a certain amount of time, so you need to stick with it because that makes the most sense. Like, you can literally pivot and change what you're doing at any point.
Absolutely. So some of the clients that I've worked with, so I've been doing this over 20 years, and my youngest clients have been kind of like 14, 15 years old. So when a parent's kind of, can we and then my oldest have been in their 60s, now they're really at that point of what is this thing that I'm doing in this absolute last act of my life. So uh a lady came to me. She'd been a midwife for over 30 years, really top of her game, you know, and we worked together on a number of goals. But one of the things she said to me is that she'd had a backache for quite a few years. And no matter where she went, how much money she spent, that backache didn't go. And anyway, in one of the sessions, um, we were talking about her doing something that she'd always wanted to do, which was kind of going to horticulture and, working with flowers, plants, the earth, that kind of thing. And so through the coaching, she opened up and she realized that actually this is something that she'd been wanting to do from a really young age. She grew up in Ireland, and back then the norm was that you would go into some sort of nursing career. And so she, by duty and default, she went into nursing, ended up being a very successful and accomplished midwife. Um, but her heart wasn't always in it.
Mm.
And so she was incongruent for all those years. And anyway, so what we did is we came up with a plan together of how she's going to introduce some of that kind of desire of working with plants and everything. So she decided to make hanging baskets for clients. this was going to be a hobby, but that pays her. But she wasn't worried about the money. She came to me, and she said to me, Neelam, my backache's gone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that, I think that kind of, what could you call it? Maybe a little bit of frustration or
Mm,
bitterness, or like why, was held in her body for all those years.
yeah.
Um, so it's interesting, isn't it? That, and this comes back to living your life by design, because you choose. When you live by default, you're allowing to live life on autopilot. It's kind of what you allow to happen to you. When you're living by duty, you're kind of, you've just permitted other people to make choices for you. So, and it doesn't mean that living by duty is a bad thing. Look, you're a mum, you have you're duty bound to look after your children, you know so there are some things that absolutely we've got responsibilities for, and we should be doing them with all of our heart, um, but what if we could design our life so that we're fulfilled and congruent, but that means we're giving the best of ourselves to our loved ones as well. And it's not about just how do I live my life for me. It's how do I live my life for me as a mum, as a wife, as a, business owner, or whatever it is.
Yeah. It's bringing in space for hobbies, isn't it? I think as children, it's so normal. All children have hobbies, and we encourage that as parents or aunties, uncles, like we encourage children to have
Mm,
hobbies. And as a child, you do naturally have those strengths that you go and do extracurriculum activities in as a child. But we kind of
mm,
lose that when we go into our careers, don't we? We lose those hobbies and our interests because we just think, well, work and life, and you
mm.
just don't have the time for it. But actually, when you start to embrace hobbies that you just haven't done or picked up for decades, even that can even turn into an incredible business in itself if that is your sort of goal.
Absolutely. Yeah. So many people I've come across and worked with who've turned a hobby into and monetized it, and it's ended up being something, more than they expected. So
Yeah, yeah.
great.
Making space for more fun, isn't it? I think
Absolutely.
our bodies are very good at telling us when something's not right, or there's more available, or yeah, there's just that disconnect there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Neelam, what are your kind of favorite people to work with? Do you love to help people that are in a particular stage, or is it kind of all spectrums? Because obviously you work with quite a broad range of ages with your clients.
Yeah. Gosh, I think it's not really about the age for me. Um, right. I mean, if I look at who I'm working with right now, some are in their 30s and some are in their kind of late 40s, early 50s, that bracket right now with my current clients. Um, for me, I think it's more about, do you have a vision or unfinished business with yourself that you need to kind of bring to life? So one of the things that I was particularly good at, when I was managing teams and departments, was that whatever the vision was, so I as a leader, I would lead with vision, and I would take my team with me. And if I took kind of like, I don't know, an underperforming department and turned it around, that was me doing my part to bring that vision to life. So for me, I want to do that for individuals. So if somebody comes to me and they're like, this is what I want to do, or this is my vision, or I have an idea, but I need to kind of define it or crystallize it more, then I'd love to work with people like that. People who have got some ambition, even if they're unsure. Like, you can have ambition but feel doubt yourself.
Yeah.
Um, so I'd love to work with people like that, and really help um, women in their kind of later stage thinking about their legacy. So I mainly work with women, although I do work with men as well. but I'm just referring to women just because that's who I mostly work with. But legacy is a big thing as well. It's what is your end game? Was it all worth it? Because we're either going to get to a point in our life where we'll say, I wish I did, or I'm glad I did.
Mm.
And I think if we have an opportunity to design our life so that we leave those footprints, leave that legacy, um, and that's just magical because your legacy outlives you and it carries on. And I told you earlier, I don't have children. My legacy, I'm not talking obviously about financial legacy, although that's definitely a part of it, but it's how am I role modeling? What did I leave behind? So one of the things that's really inspired me more in recent years is whenever I've attended a funeral where family members have passed, and you listen to the eulogy, and you start to hear a side of that person that maybe you didn't know,
Mm.
if you weren't particularly close with them. And every person in their own way has left a legacy. Every person has left some sort of footprint or mark. And can you imagine if we did that by design? And I don't mean by, you know, just being authentic with that, and not kind of like, right, my intention is to always be nice and not be genuine with it. And that's not the point. It's like, what if I could do a little bit more? What if I could make a bit more of a difference? What if I could, so for me, that really was a big thing. So one of the coaching exercises that I do with clients is get them to think about that.
I love that
Um,
question. I think
yeah.
legacy is one of those things, and I know I'm writing a book at the moment, and I think it's one of those things that when you first hear about it, you think legacy is for like the rich and famous. It's not for like an everyday kind of person, but actually it's for everybody. Like you say, everybody leaves that footprint, don't they?
So there's something that that I say is that you are an inspiration. You've just been quiet.
I love that. Yeah. And so many of us are being too quiet. We're hiding our magic and actually not living in a life by design at all.
Yeah,
And just kind
absolutely.
of going through with the motion of what is kind of
Mm.
everyday life. But we get to
Yeah,
choose that, don't we?
yeah.
I love that. Could you tell us about House of Leaders?
Okay, so House of Leaders is like the little sister of Designer Life. And that's where I work with small to medium-sized businesses, working with the founders or CEOs. And my job really there is to help them supercharge their teams and leaders. So I will go in and do performance coaching or leadership coaching, whatever their need is, and help the team to really become more high performers or high value creating teams. So I mentioned earlier that I'm working with a team in Cyprus. So that's an example. So they are a sales team that have got targets and KPIs, and my work is to go in and do either workshops, group coaching, or one-to-one coaching, depending on what we've agreed. And yeah, just see really extraordinary results. So yeah, that's what I do at House of Leaders, and things like tailor-made or bespoke lunchtime workshops and things like that for companies is what I do under House of Leaders.
Yeah, and it's such important work as well, isn't it? Having that like leadership development inside teams because it just helps to build that momentum and essentially hit those goals.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm just really pleased to see some of the results that are coming in. And that's actually really important when it comes to coaching is we know that there's so many coaches out there. The markets often feels a little bit saturated, and but coaching is I think it's when I looked up, it was the second fastest growing sector when it comes to kind of service based. Um, but there are still so much work out there. There's plenty to go around. That's
Yeah.
what I believe. And it's really important as a coach, and even for other coaches, is that we deliver with, ethically and with integrity. But ultimately, a person's not looking to pay for coaching or buy coaching. They're looking to get to V, to
Yeah.
get that vision. They're looking for that result. So it's really important that we can show them the value, the return on investment, with the coaching that they would receive. So, yeah.
100%. Before we dive back into today's episode, I wanted to invite you to something really special. If you are a spiritually awake leader, a healer, a mentor, a coach, or visionary who knows that you are here to create real impact, I would love to invite you to my Light Leaders 2026 event. This is a one-day in-person experience in the beautiful Cotswolds on Tuesday, the 6th of October. And this is all about bringing together heart-led leaders who are ready to share their message, their magic, and their impact that they're here to make. This isn't just another business event. This is a room full of people who truly get this work. It is a space to connect, to grow, to step into your next level of visibility and leadership. And I'm really excited to welcome that Amanda O, as our official brand partner, will be there with me on the day. Amanda helps experts to turn speaking opportunities into real business opportunities, making her the perfect partner for a room full of leaders who are ready to use their voice and be seen. If you are feeling the pull to be in the room or to find out more, you can find all the details and the ticket link in the show notes. I would love to welcome you. Now let's get back to the episode. Can you, when you look back now and just think of that, did you say you were 15 when you decided to start looking into kind of personal development and leadership?
Yeah, 15 is when I started reading a lot of self-help and personal development books.
Did you
Yeah.
ever imagine you'd be doing what you're doing now?
No, but I always knew that I would do something where I was leading others. Like there are some people that are born leaders. I was definitely born a leader. And I think part of that was actually because I was the eldest of six.
Yeah.
Um, although I can't now, it's funny, now I'm actually thinking about it. Maybe it wasn't entirely that. I think I was born a leader. And I don't mean that in a, in an arrogant way. I naturally am. I can't not be what I naturally am,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Um, so so I think that being when I was that age, I knew that at some point I'm going to be in some sort of leadership role. Um, but I never thought I'd be running a business.
Amazing. You're
So
building that legacy.
yeah, yeah. And my legacy is definitely going to be a lot of my client work. Like I there was we were doing my husband and I were doing a clear out, was it in December, kind of come before coming into the new year. Yeah, I was just needed to
Yeah.
go through some things. And I found notes, cards, letters from when I ran workshops or did coaching like over 15 years ago. And I knew I was going to keep them. I was never going to but I hadn't seen them in so long. And I remember sitting there and I cried, just,
Ah,
just like thinking about, yeah, I might not be in touch with some of these people from although, that I've coached a while ago, but yeah,
you made an
it's,
impact.
and then they impacted me with
Ah, I love that. It's
results.
that
So,
the ripple effect.
yeah, yeah. And even what you do, we all are here to make a difference in our own unique way in our own businesses. Um, so yeah.
Yeah. What is
Mhm.
next for you, Neelam?
So what is next? Well, what I'm actually working on right now is I've recently launched a self-coaching program for women. So this is where I've taken um, drawn from hundreds of real life coaching sessions and turned it into a self-coaching program. It's called Redesign. So it's really helping an individual design their most inspired life. And all these sessions, I'll just show it to you. Let's have a look. So it comes in a printed, beautifully kind of printed workbook. I did a poll actually a couple of years ago, and asking about whether people prefer digital or printed, you know, like a work that you write in. And the poll came up higher for writing in something. And
Yes.
it just means that you can enjoy doing something like this tech free.
I would
Um,
100% agree with that. The act of writing is so good. It releases everything, doesn't it? I love it.
It does. I always say writing is so powerful because it becomes legal. It's a covenant between you and what you've written. So anyway, so Redesign is a 16-part self-coaching program that I've put together for women, drawn from hundreds of real life coaching sessions. And it takes you on a journey of who am I? What are my values? What are my, obviously the goals are in there, but even things like my habits, of rewiring your thinking, your personal brand, um, style transformation. Sometimes we need a little elevation in how we
Yeah.
show up and present. How do we design our day? So one of the sessions is on designing your day, where you're thinking about using how you use your senses in that day. So for example, one of the things I do when I wake up in the morning, I will have a cup of green tea. And it's like actually enjoying that. So holding the mug, how does it feel? It doesn't really have a smell, but you know, the taste, or when I'm looking out of the window and looking at the garden. So really being fully present. So
Mm.
it's designing a day like that. Or like if you're, you know, saying goodbye to your son or daughter before they go to school, you often mums would give them a kiss, you know, and it's all like rush, a hug, a kiss, or whatever. But it's having that moment of smelling their hair
Yeah.
in that moment, or feeling their skin. And so it's I love that session. I think it's quite powerful. And actually the one on legacy is also in the program as well.
Love
So
that.
it's great for women who are looking to design the next stage of their life, or maybe they've never even done any kind of personal development and this is their first intro into kind of self-coaching or coaching. So yeah, that's Redesign.
I love that. And I think this is something that's really important to do at regular stages. I think a lot of people might think, well, I've done some personal development work. I know what my values are. I know what my vision is, but that changes. Like I know for me, I've gone through various seasons of life where I've gone into a new chapter and I think, well, my kind of vision that I had actually isn't what my vision is now. So it's going
Mm.
over and reconnecting and really sitting back and allowing that space, isn't it? To think, well, what do I want next? What do I want for this next stage of my life?
Yeah, absolutely, Jackie. Yeah. I know I've done things like this a few times because it does adjust and change, you know, over as years pass or as circumstances change as well.
Yeah. And I
Um,
find that that's a really rewarding thing to do anyway, because you can then see your own personal growth that you've had since the last time you did it.
yeah, yeah, and that was one of the things that somebody said to me is that I would like to be able to look back at it. So when you write in it, you look back at it or use it as a reference as you're working through it. So, for example, when I say to my private clients when we're in sessions, I always say have a designated book or notebook for your sessions because it's easy for you to then look back and see, okay, how far you've come, all the notes that you've taken. Um, and also when I talk about vision or when we're doing what I call visioneering, is I always say, let what you've written speak to you. It's an ongoing dialogue. It's telling you, Jackie, this is what you said is your vision. Let's get you there. So it's really powerful to write things out and to pen those ideas and thoughts and whatever is going on deep down as well.
Yeah, I love that. Where is the best place to connect with you online?
Okay, so Instagram at Designer Life Coaching, or LinkedIn, just Neelam Challoner. Yeah, I do have a presence on Facebook, but I'm not active on there, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Perfect. I'll put all the links in the show notes below. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Neelam. For anyone that has listened to this, that has really enjoyed this, or would like to find out more about working with Neelam, I will pop the links in below. Please do also connect with her on social media, and I will see you in the next episode, everybody. Take care, guys.